Happy day, children. Today we are going to go further. That's on unit 2. Once again, we are with materials itself. But today we are going to learn sorting materials into groups. Now let's see the introduction first. Look at the objects around you. They are all made of different kind of materials, aren't they? Will you agree with me that they are made of different kinds of materials? Okay, the desk may have been made of wood or metal. The ruler has been made of metal or sometimes wood. Write down the names of the objects that you can see in your room. Then put them into groups according to the material they are made of. For example, dustbin may be made of plastic or also and so may be a water bottle. Put all the things made of plastic in one group. Since materials are present in such large numbers around us, it is very difficult to count and study them. It is important to know that the properties of materials present around us, it helps us to understand them properly. It is much easier to know and learn more about them when they are grouped or classified into categories. That is why scientists classify materials. Now let's see the classification of materials. Grouping things together on the basis of certain similar property is called classification. Materials present around us can be of different sizes, colors, shapes, or may be living or non-living. Now look at this figure over here. Different materials. This is the desk, water bottle, pen, cup or mug. Okay. So there are many ways of classifying materials. For example, some are made from plastics, fabrics, metals, wood. Some are living beings and some are non-living beings. Living beings commonly present around us include human beings, various types of plants, animals, insects, birds, etc. On the other hand, tables, chairs, pens, pencils, cars, toys, etc. are non-living things. Living beings can further be classified into plants and animals. Plants can be classified as algae, fungi, aquatic, herbs, shrubs, etc. Similarly, animals are further classified into aquatic, terrestrial and aerial depending upon the place they live in. Non-living things are also classified on the basis of their use, source and material of which they are made of. On the basis of their source, the things are categorized as natural or human-made. Thus, one can conclude that classification helps us to understand and know more about the materials present around us. Now, classification of materials on the basis of common properties. The things around us are made up of materials. Some things are made up of one kind of materials, like the wooden bowl can be made of one type of wood alone. Most things, though, like aeroplanes, ships, buildings, etc., are made up of combination of different types of materials. Different materials have different properties or characteristics. Therefore, they can be classified on the basis of their properties. Firstly, we will discuss the properties which are common in all materials. The two properties are mass and volume. Mass is the amount of substance that something contains. The mass of an object is measured in kilograms or pounds. The amount of space occupied by a material is called its volume. All materials occupy space. Gases also occupy space. The space occupied by the different materials is different. The same mass of cotton will occupy more space than a metal. It is also not true that a material with more volume will also have greater mass. Now, going to matter, anything that occupies space and has mass is called matter. Since all materials present in this world occupy space and have mass, hence they are all matter. But there are many things which are not matter. For example, television signals, radio signals, electricity, light, sound, etc. All these forms of energy and do not occupy space and have no mass. Okay? Now this is about matter. Now let's see about the states of matter. Matter exists in three states, that is solid is ice, then liquid as water, and then gas, what you can see here, gaseous. These are the three states. These three states differ from each other on the basis of nature of particles in them and the way in which they are packed. These also differ on the basis of their volume and shape. Solids have a fixed shape and volume. They do not change their shape or volume easily. You can move a solid from one place to another, but it is not possible to change its shape easily, isn't it? Observe that. The molecules in solids are packed closely and tightly. Molecules are the smallest identifiable units of a substance. The molecules of a solid have strong intermolecular forces of attraction. These forces keep the molecules together and closely packed. As a result, solids have a fixed volume and shape. These forces make solids hard and rigid. Now look at this, the packing of molecules in three states of matter. Look at this. These are closely packed. Here there is a bit of gap and here there is a lot of gap. Okay. Liquids have a fixed volume, but they can take the shape of the vessel in which they are kept. Hence, their shape is not fixed. Water, when poured into a glass, takes the shape of the glass, and when poured into a jug, takes the shape of the jug, but its volume remains the same. The molecules in a liquid are less tightly packed than in a solid, that you saw just now in the figure, children. Okay, the reason for this is that the forces of attraction between the molecules of a liquid are less strong than in a solid. As a result, the molecules have spaces between them and they can move within the liquid. This is called fluidity. Liquids are not hard and rigid due to fluidity. Gases are the state of matter which have no fixed shape and no fixed volume. The air in the football and the air in a balloon or in a bicycle tire have different shapes and different volumes. The molecules in a gas have large distances between them and they have very little intermolecular forces of attraction. Therefore, the molecules are always moving and occupy a whole of the volume of the vessel in which they are kept. Okay, now let's see this do you know part of it. Let's see what it has in store for us. Solids can melt and become liquids when they are heated. Liquids can become solids when they are cooled down. Interesting, isn't it? Now, let's see the activity number 1. From your surroundings, list 10 things as natural and human-made products. Alright, now let's see the property, the solids, liquids and gases. Position of molecules, fixed and cannot move. In liquids it is not fixed and can move within the volume. Not at all fixed and are always moving. Intermolecular forces strongest. Lesser than solids but greater than gases. Least of all the states. Intermolecular spaces, least and most tightly packed. More than that in a solid and thus less compactly packed. Largest of all the states and very loosely packed. Volume, definite volume liquids to have. Gases do not have a definite volume. When its shape is concerned, the solids have a fixed shape. The shape of the liquids is not fixed. When it is gases, it is not fixed again. All right, great. Now let's go to the properties of matter. Other than volume and mass, matter has many other properties on the basis of which we can distinguish them. The most common properties on the basis of which we can distinguish materials are appearance, hardness, solubility, density, transparency, magnetic property, etc. Let us study these properties of matter. Appearance. Appearance is the first thing on the basis on which materials can be distinguished from each other. Materials usually look different from each other, and if two things look alike, then they're most likely to have some composition. Wood is different from iron and plastic. Even one metal is different from the other, like iron is different from aluminium, gold, copper, etc. Isn't it? This is a known fact. Okay, at the same time, there are many similarities between these metals that are not there in wood, plastic, etc. Now here also we agree. Okay, this is where appearance is concerned. Now let's go to the texture. Materials differ from each other on the basis of texture. Texture is the way that something feels when we touch it. Some of the materials are rough, some are smooth, some are powdered, and some are hard. The main reason that textures of materials differ is the way in which their molecules are packed. Now this is smooth, isn't it, cloth? Now here a brick wall is definitely going to be rough. Now these are the two textures which are very clear to you. Let's move to the luster. The shine in the materials is called their luster. Some materials shine because light gets reflected from their surface. Most metals exhibit this property. For example, stainless steel utensils show luster, whereas wooden utensils do not. Luster is a unique property of metals. Luster is a unique property of what, children? It is a unique property of metals. Now go to the hardness. When you try to press different materials with your hands, you will find that few get easily pressed while others do to a little extent. And there are some materials which do not get pressed at all. Try to press different objects like metal, wood, sponge, wax, chalk, etc. You can easily scratch some of the materials, while some cannot be scratched so easily. Materials which can be pressed or scratched easily are called soft, while some other materials which are difficult to press are called hard. For example, cotton or sponge are soft, while iron is hard. Understood? Very good. Now let's go to the activity number 2, that is collect 20 different things from your surroundings. Tell your friend to close your eyes, and now just by touching try to classify the things and also try to tell the material from which they are made up of. Now this will be fun, children. Please go ahead and do it. Alright? Okay. Then we have solubility. Take some sugar and dissolve it in water in a glass tumbler. When the solid dissolves, it becomes part of liquid. It becomes a part of liquid. The sugar will dissolve in water. Sugar breaks down into very small particles and spreads throughout the water. The molecules of sugar occupy the intermolecular spaces of water. Therefore, we cannot see them and conclude that sugar has dissolved in water. Similarly, take the table salt and mix it in water. It will also dissolve. Now repeat this with sand and chalk powder. You will find that both of them are insoluble. That is not soluble in water because they do not break into smaller molecules in water. Now try to dissolve some liquids in water. Take water in a beaker, add milk to it. Try to dissolve it by stirring. It dissolves and does not form a separate layer. But When the same is repeated with vegetable oil, it does not dissolve even on stirring. Can you see it here? You will find it floating and forms a separate layer. The liquids which dissolve in one another when mixed with each other are called miscible liquids. What are they called? Miscible liquids. Whereas the liquids which do not dissolve in one another and form layers are called non-miscible liquids. What are they called? Non-miscible liquids. Gases also dissolve in water and in other liquids to some extent. Oxygen dissolves in water, and this dissolved oxygen supports aquatic life. Similarly, carbon dioxide is also soluble in water and is used by aquatic plants for photosynthesis. On the other hand, some gases are not soluble in water like nitrogen and neon. Now let's go to transparency. If a substance or material is transparent, you can see through them. We can see through a substance only when light can pass in through it. Therefore, materials on this basis can be classified into three categories. Now, which are those three categories? Transparent materials, translucent materials, and opaque materials. Okay, we will see see here you can see this is transparent, this is translucent, and this is opaque. Did you get it? Very good. Transparent materials are materials through which we can see clearly and light can pass through them easily, such as window panes, water, and air. Translucent materials are the materials through which we can see partially and light can pass through them partially, such as a butter paper and frosted glass and frosted glass. Opaque materials are the materials through which no light can pass and one cannot see through them, such as wood, sand, and brick. Opaque substances cast a shadow. Now let's see this activity which we have to do, children. Take sugar, salt, honey, sand, and chalk powder. Now take 5 beakers with equal amounts of water and dissolve the things you have taken in the beakers. Find out which of the substances dissolve in water and which doesn't dissolve in water. Okay. Next we go to the density. Materials differ from each other on the basis of their mass and volume. The mass per unit volume of a substance is called its density. For example, iron has a higher density than cotton, and therefore, if we take the same mass of both of these materials, cotton will occupy more volume. It is because of density that some materials float in water, while others sink. The materials with a lower density than water, for example, wooden logs, float on water. The substances with a greater density than water, for example, iron nails, sink in water. Now, let's see about Archimedes, 287 to 212 before Christ. Archimedes was a Greek mathematician, inventor, physicist, engineer, and an astronomer. He was born in the seaport city of Syracuse in Sicily. His father was an astronomer. Archimedes is considered one of the greatest scientists who ever lived. He designed many machines. He is said to have discovered the principle of floating. As per Archimedes' principle, when an object is immersed in a liquid, it experiences an upward thrust equal to the weight of the liquid displaced by the object. I want you to self-connect and read in depth about Archimedes, children. Got it? Now let's see what this do you know he has in store for us. Heating or cooking can change the properties of given material. Sorry, I mean stop. Do you know heating or cooling can change the properties of a given material? Did you get it, children? Great. Now, let's see what this activity 4 has in store for us. Collect 5 things from your surroundings and classify them as transparent, translucent and opaque objects and observe their appearance in lighted electric bulb. Now this is something interesting. Please go ahead and do this activity 4. Okay, now we proceed further to thermal conduction. The substances which allow heat to pass through them are called good conductors of heat. All metals are good conductors of heat. That is why entire cooking vessel becomes hot on heating. The substances which do not allow heat to pass through them are called bad conductors of heat, like wood and plastic. That is why the wooden handle of the frying pan does not become hot when the pan is heated. Did you get this? Something interesting, isn't it? Try it out. You have gas at home. Tell your mommy to stand next to you and experiment with her when she's cooking something. Did you get it, children? Okay, now further we go to diffusion. The process of gases and liquids spreading into surrounding substance is known as diffusion. If someone opens a perfume bottle at one corner of the room, the smell spreads throughout the room, as in this figure. Okay? This is because perfume mixes with air. Gases have the highest rate of diffusion, but different gases diffuse at different rates. Alright, now this is the conductor and this is the insulator. Alright, great. Now here it was about diffusion, children. See, this is about diffusion and this is the conductor wire and the insulator plastic, which we are going to learn in the electric property. Materials which conduct electricity are called conductors. For example, metals such as copper, iron and silver are conductors. Did you get it? Here we learned once again, I want to tell you, this is about diffusion and this is about the electrical property. We use wires of copper in our household wiring. Materials which do not conduct electricity are called insulators or bad conductors of electricity, like wood, rubber, plastics, air, etc. That is why electric wires have a rubber coating. Got it? Very good. Now, magnetic property, you must have seen and played with magnets. If you have not, please visit the shop, buy some magnets and start playing with them. The substances which get attracted by a magnet are called magnetic substances and are said to have magnetic property. Magnets attract iron and steel substances but do not attract other metals like aluminium and copper. Materials that have magnetic property are used in generators and motors. Iron, cobalt and nickel are some magnetic materials. Now let's see this activity 5, children. Say which one of these is a conductor and which one of this is an insulator. Okay, toothbrush, spoon, keychain, water, plastic ruler, metal wire, pins and nails. Now this is what you have to do on your own and tell me in the next class. And now let's see what is do you know have in store for us. According to scientists, there is a 4th state of matter called plasma. Plasma is very much like gas with no definite shape and volume. It consists of charged particles due to which it conducts electricity. Our universe is 99% plasma. Stars, including the sun, are also made up of plasma. The tube lights which we use also contain plasma. Now let's see the activity 6. Take the following things and classify them as magnetic or non-magnetic. A pencil, a paperweight, an iron key, a comb, some clips, a pen, some nails, and a magnet, an eraser, and a knife. Okay, now you're going to do this and you're going to classify it as magnetic or non-magnetic. Did you get it, children? Now we are almost coming to the end of the lesson. Let's see what the points to remember has to tell us. All objects are made of some material. Materials present around us can be of different sizes, colors, shapes, or maybe living or non-living. Materials are classified on the basis of their common properties. All matter exists in 3 states. Which are those 3 states? Solid, liquid, and gaseous. Okay, the molecules in solids are packed closely and tightly. Solids have a fixed volume and shape. Liquids have a fixed volume and take the shape of the vessel they are kept in. Gases neither have a fixed shape nor fixed volume. We can distinguish materials on the basis of their appearance, texture, luster, hardness, solubility, density, transparency, and magnetic property. Now that was interesting that we learnt in this lesson. And these are the points that you ought to remember. Further, let us just wind up with the important definition. Now, what is classification? It means grouping of things together on the basis. Now, let's go to the important definitions. Let's wind up rather with the important definitions. Now, what is classification? It is grouping of things together on the basis of a certain similar property. What is mass? The amount of substance that something contains. What is volume? The amount of space occupied by a material. What is matter? Anything that occupies space and has mass. What is density? The mass per unit volume of a substance. What is transparent? The substance through which we can see. What do we understand by opaque? The substances through which we cannot see. What do we understand by conductor of heat? The substances which allow heat to pass through them. Then coming to diffusion, the process of gases and liquids spreading into a surrounding. Electrical property, the tendency of substances to conduct electricity. Magnetic property, the tendency of substances to get attracted by magnets. Now children, that is the end of the lesson. Do a lot of research and keep in mind these important definitions. Alright? And have a lovely time going through this lesson and pondering about it. Thank you.